This should be fun. We are gearing up for a beautiful and delicious and fun week in the kitchen. Starting off today with my son's birthday. So he requested hoagies, well not hoagies, more like brats for his birthday. And I came to realize that as much bread as I bake, I don't do hoagie rolls often, and so I was trying to think what I wanted to do for these. I had thought maybe I would do some ciabatta, but I thought of it too late last evening and my starter wasn't ready earlier, so I scratched that idea. In each of these bowls, I have a double recipe of my artisan loaf, and I'll leave that for you in the description box below. But I'm dividing this into 3 parts, and then I think I'm gonna try to bake it in my baguette pan so that I get a better loaf. I have no idea if this is gonna work, but we're gonna try it together. These have rested for about 7 minutes now, and I ended up putting the third one in with these two just to make them a little bit bigger because I don't want them to be the size of a baguette. I want them to be quite a bit thicker. So I have 2 left here. I'm gonna just spray my baguette pan with this. This is just an organic olive oil, and I have no idea what I'm doing with this, but we're gonna give it our best try and hopefully they turn out. So once it's sitting in here, I'm gonna let them rise for anywhere between 30 minutes and an hour. My oven is already preheating, and I have a small cast iron pan in there so that I can still create steam because I don't have a lid for this like I would with my typical round loaves. Well, it's the moment of truth. They've been in here about 15 minutes now at about 450. I had it set at 480 when I put them in, and then I turned down the heat a little bit, hopefully just to get them nice and get some oven spring on them. And then my little cast iron pan, I just put a little bit of water in right before I shut the door to hopefully trap some steam. We will see. Okay. That might have some potential. I don't know. What do you think? This is what they are looking like. So I'm gonna set them here to cool. Actually, I'm gonna get my cooling rack because I want this rack to cool off as quickly as possible so that I can get my next batch going, because that will probably start being overproofed here before too long. I want to butter this before it cools off, and then I think I'm going to cover it with a towel so that the crust doesn't get too crusty, because I want little kids to be able to enjoy the bread as well. I'm going to do the exact same thing here with my second batch of dough. I have a special surprise for you today, but before I get into it, I need you to pull out your phones, open your calendar, and set a reminder for June 18, that's the end of this week, at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, because Antique Candle Company is launching a flash sale on their entire spring and summer collection, which if you have been on their website at all the past season, you know there's some incredible scents. I know so many of you already know and love Antique Candle Company, and for good reason. They are a clean candle company, so clean wax, clean wick, clean scent, all of it. You can feel good about burning. In fact, I have got so many of my real life family and friends hooked on these, and just the other day I was over at a friend's house and she was saying how she had bought a different candle and she's like, oh my goodness, I just ended up throwing it away because she much prefers these scents and that they're not so overpowering. But back to the sale, you will find discounts ranging between 20%, 30%, even 40% off, and their free shipping after $85 is still effective even with the sale. So a great time to stock up on your own supply, or even looking ahead for birthday gifts, Christmas gifts. The coupon code will apply automatically at checkout. And a little FYI, they do ship their candles in 1 to 3 days. So turnaround is super quick. And their happiness guarantee applies to all candles, which basically means that if you get a scent that you don't love, they will continue to send you a free candle until you find one that you love for free, which is amazing. But they are super confident that people will love their scents. And from the feedback I've been hearing, it is very, very widely loved. Again, that's June 18 at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Sale runs, I think it's for 5 days, but I hope you are able to stock up on your favorite scents. Just pulled the pie crust from the oven. This was 100% fresh milled flour, and then I also did sourdough, but it's not long fermented. So now, while the crust is still warm, this is dark chocolate. Obviously, you can do whatever kind of chocolate you prefer, but I find it gets too sweet if I use a milk chocolate. Just gonna try to get these on here single layer. And the warmth of the pie crust melts this chocolate. So in a couple minutes, I can come with a spoon and just smear it around and it melts beautifully. So I'm gonna do that with each of these, and then this needs to chill completely before we can add the strawberry filling.
Okay, but it would go more.
So a while later now, my pie crusts here are about chilled. So I'm gonna work on my glaze. I'll do the glaze for all the pies here at the same time. So to start off, I'm gonna put 6 cups of cold water into my pot. And then 6 tablespoons cornstarch. And I'll just quickly whisk that in to make sure it dissolves before my water gets hot. A cup of strawberry jello. And then half a cup of honey. I'm going to bring this to a boil. We'll let it boil for about 10 minutes and then take it off the heat. I moved it to a bigger pot because it was giving me a little bit cold feet the way that it was starting to bubble up, and I have had it bubble over before. But we are going to remove it from the heat now and then stir in 3 tablespoons of butter. And then we want this to at least partly cool before we add the strawberries. For the amount of glaze that we just did, I am going to take, 3 quarts of strawberries. We'll wash them well and then take the stems off. You can slice them up, or I love to just leave them whole and then you have these big juicy chunks. But I've done either way and they're both delicious. Intended to share some more clips of yesterday's meal, but people arrived and I switched into hosting mode, I guess. So I didn't get much of that, but dinner was delicious and I have some leftovers. So I think today for lunch, we're gonna do kind of a, I don't know, salad bowl of sorts. We have a lot of lettuce in the garden right now that is about to bolt, so I'm trying to use that up as much as possible. And so I think I'm gonna do some sweet potatoes. We'll cube these kind of like hash browns and then take them out to cook them on the Blackstones. And then I have some meat to top it with. I think I have some hard-boiled eggs in the fridge, and we'll just kind of create a bowl of sorts. I was a little bit nervous how the breads would turn out yesterday. Even leading up to it, as I was cutting it, I was like, I don't know, will these be heavy? But I got so many compliments on it. People loved it. And so that I was so relieved that it was enjoyed. And I have some leftovers. So I'm thinking what we'll do for these salad bowls. I want to dice up a few of these into like croutons, and then we'll throw those on the Blackstone as well. We are having to pivot a little bit from the plan. The Blackstone is not heating up for me, so I'm not quite sure what happened. I wonder if when they moved it down to the porch yesterday, if it's some kind of a like regulator, if it messed it up. I'm not quite sure. We're gonna have to look into that, but Josh says that it was also being slow last evening. So we are for real doing leftovers then. I was so looking forward to those sweet potatoes. They are one of my all-time favorite foods, but this will be delicious too. So I'm just heating up some ground beef that we had in the fridge. We have some salad, and then I'm gonna add some more strawberries. We'll do some cheese cubes. For the dressing, I have a homemade Caesar dressing here that we'll top it with. And right on to the next party today. We are planning to host a birthday brunch for my sister-in-law. So I am making a strawberry shortcake of sorts. When I say shortcake, I actually just mean like a white cake. To start off with, I am gonna whip until light 8 eggs. And I'm adding in 2 cups of honey. About half a teaspoon salt. For this, I want a light cake, and so I'm gonna sift the bran out of my flour. Then we're gonna bring 2 cups milk and 4 tablespoons butter, just barely to a boil, and we'll alternate mixing that with our flour mixture.
Ready to take our breakfast.
having a lot of egg dishes recently, I feel like, for breakfast. And so I think today we're going to switch it up a little bit, do some cream of wheat. I'm thinking I'll do a cinnamon raisin and top it with bananas since we have some ripe bananas on hand again. To start off with, I am just going to mill on a coarse setting about 1.5 cups of wheat berries, and these are hard white wheat berries. And then I'll heat up 5 cups of whole milk. You can do 6 cups, but I like to do my last cup of cream because it just makes it extra creamy in the end. And then the 1.5 cups of coarse ground wheat, and we're gonna let this cook until it's thick. Since we want a cinnamon raisin flavor, I'm going to add a tablespoon of cinnamon and then about 1/2 tablespoon of vanilla bean paste. We'll toss in some raisins and maybe slice some bananas and we'll be ready to eat. Well, it has been another day of a lot of yard work outside. By the way, these are our hamburger rolls. They do not look perfect, and I was expecting that. This recipe turns out absolute perfection when you use all-purpose flour, and I will do that. That's kind of my go-to if I'm cooking for a crowd or people that are maybe not used to like healthier versions of things. But for just our family, I just much prefer sticking with 100% fresh milled, especially if it's not long fermented. And so that's what we did today. But if I want to do like I say 100% fresh milled, but it has, I think it's 6 cups fresh milled to 2 cups all purpose, but then it's fermented overnight and it has whey in it and it just has incredible flavor. That is my favorite, but I didn't get on it in time yesterday with feeding my starter, and I don't actually have whey on hand right now. Hopefully, maybe tomorrow I can make another batch of cottage cheese and then I'll have whey again. But these burgers I think will be delicious anyway. We're getting beautiful hot summer weather, and so I immediately start craving all the summer foods, I feel like, when warm weather hits. All those things we enjoyed in the winter, like stews and soup and mashed potatoes, just don't have the same appeal. So tonight we're gonna do burgers with a little bit of an added twist, which is bacon jam. It makes them taste so gourmet. I don't even have all the toppings. Like, I think I'm out of tomatoes right now. It's fine. I cannot wait for dinner, and I know Josh will not be disappointed either. So to start off with, I am gonna dice my bacon and we'll cook that. The bacon is cooked, so I'm just gonna strain off some of the fat here. We'll leave a little bit in here because next we're gonna add in some onion and garlic. Cook that. Finally, we're going to come in with a 1/3 cup balsamic vinegar as well as a 1/3 cup maple syrup and let this cook until it reduces down. So this will take a little while. We'll just let it simmer. This afternoon, I made a chocolate version of our granola because I thought, how delicious would that be with some freeze-dried strawberries on top, kind of a chocolate-covered strawberry idea. So I'm going to mix this in now, and then I just like to store them in these gallon glass jars. Keep it on the counter here, and that's usually breakfast or snack, I don't know, probably at least 5 times a week. Thank you so much for joining me in the kitchen this week. I hope it gave you some inspiration as you serve your family through food this week. Thank you for joining me, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye, friends.
Golden, golden things.